I wake up at 7 a.m.
I wake up at 7 a.m.
I open my eyes slowly.
I open my eyes slowly.
I stretch my arms.
I stretch my arms.
I yawn loudly.
I yawn loudly.
I turn off my alarm.
I turn off my alarm.
I get out of bed.
I get out of bed.
I put on my slippers.
I put on my slippers.
I walk to the bathroom.
I walk to the bathroom.
I turn on the bathroom light.
I turn on the bathroom light.
I look in the mirror.
I look in the mirror.
I brush my teeth.
I brush my teeth.
I rinse my mouth with water.
I rinse my mouth with water.
I wash my face with soap.
I wash my face with soap.
I dry my face with a towel.
I dry my face with a towel.
I comb my hair.
I comb my hair.
I take a shower.
I take a shower.
I use shampoo on my hair.
I use shampoo on my hair.
I rinse off the soap.
I rinse off the soap.
I turn off the water.
I turn off the water.
I step out of the shower.
I step out of the shower.
I dry myself with a towel.
I dry myself with a towel.
I put on deodorant.
I put on deodorant.
I go to my bedroom.
I go to my bedroom.
I choose clothes from my closet.
I choose clothes from my closet.
I put on my underwear.
I put on my underwear.
I put on a clean shirt.
I put on a clean shirt.
I put on my pants.
I put on my pants.
I put on my socks.
I put on my socks.
I put on my shoes.
I put on my shoes.
I make my bed.
I make my bed.
I open the curtains.
I open the curtains.
I let sunlight into the room.
I let sunlight into the room.
I go to the kitchen.
I go to the kitchen.
I turn on the coffee machine.
I turn on the coffee machine.
I put bread in the toaster.
I put bread in the toaster.
I get butter from the fridge.
I get butter from the fridge.
I take jam from the cupboard.
I take jam from the cupboard.
I pour coffee into my cup.
I pour coffee into my cup.
I add milk to my coffee.
I add milk to my coffee.
I add sugar to my coffee.
I add sugar to my coffee.
I stir my coffee with a spoon.
I stir my coffee with a spoon.
I take the toast out.
I take the toast out.
I spread butter on the toast.
I spread butter on the toast.
I spread jam on the toast.
I spread jam on the toast.
I eat my breakfast.
I eat my breakfast.
I drink my coffee.
I drink my coffee.
I read the newspaper.
I read the newspaper.
I check my phone for messages.
I check my phone for messages.
I wash the breakfast dishes.
I wash the breakfast dishes.
I clean the kitchen counter.
I clean the kitchen counter.
I wipe the table clean.
I wipe the table clean.
I take my bag.
I take my bag.
I check for my keys.
I check for my keys.
I put on my jacket.
I put on my jacket.
I lock the front door.
I lock the front door.
I walk to the street.
I walk to the street.
I wait for the bus.
I wait for the bus.
I get on the bus.
I get on the bus.
I pay for my bus ticket.
I pay for my bus ticket.
I sat in the empty seat.
I sat in the empty seat.
I look out the window.
I look out the window.
I get off the bus.
I get off the bus.
I take a shopping cart.
I take a shopping cart.
I buy fresh apples.
I buy fresh apples.
I buy a loaf of bread.
I buy a loaf of bread.
I buy a bottle of milk.
I buy a bottle of milk.
I buy a dozen eggs.
I buy a dozen eggs.
I buy fresh vegetables.
I buy fresh vegetables.
I go to the cashier.
I go to the cashier.
I pay with my card.
I pay with my card.
I take my receipt.
I take my receipt.
I pack the groceries in bags.
I pack the groceries in bags.
I carry the bags home.
I carry the bags home.
I unlock my front door.
I unlock my front door.
I put the groceries in the kitchen.
I put the groceries in the kitchen.
I put the milk in the fridge.
I put the milk in the fridge.
I wash the apples in the sink.
I wash the apples in the sink.
I sit on the couch.
I sit on the couch.
I turn on the television.
I turn on the television.
I watch an interesting movie.
I watch an interesting movie.
I eat a fresh apple.
I eat a fresh apple.
I drink a glass of water.
I drink a glass of water.
I feel hungry for lunch.
I feel hungry for lunch.
I go back to the kitchen.
I go back to the kitchen.
I decide what to cook.
I decide what to cook.
I wash the vegetables in water.
I wash the vegetables in water.
I cut the vegetables with a knife.
I cut the vegetables with a knife.
I heat oil in the pan.
I heat oil in the pan.
I cook the vegetables in the pan.
I cook the vegetables in the pan.
I add salt to the food.
I add salt to the food.
I taste the cooked food.
I taste the cooked food.
I turn off the stove.
I turn off the stove.
I put the food on a plate.
I put the food on a plate.
I sit at the dining table.
I sit at the dining table.
I eat my homemade lunch.
I eat my homemade lunch.
I clean my dirty plate.
I clean my dirty plate.
I wash the cooking pan.
I wash the cooking pan.
I dry all the dishes.
I dry all the dishes.
I feel tired after eating.
I feel tired after eating.
I sit in my favorite chair.
I sit in my favorite chair.
I read an interesting book.
I read an interesting book.
I turn the book pages.
I turn the book pages.
I enjoy the exciting story.
I enjoy the exciting story.
I put the book down.
I put the book down.
I take a short afternoon nap.
I take a short afternoon nap.
I close my tired eyes.
I close my tired eyes.
I rest quietly for 30 minutes.
I rest quietly for 30 minutes.
I wake up from my nap.
I wake up from my nap.
I feel much more refreshed.
I feel much more refreshed.
I make a cup of tea.
I make a cup of tea.
I add honey to my tea.
I add honey to my tea.
I call my best friend.
I call my best friend.
We talk for 20 minutes.
We talk for 20 minutes.
I water my houseplants.
I water my houseplants.
I start cleaning the house.
I start cleaning the house.
I vacuum the living room carpet.
I vacuum the living room carpet.
I dust the wooden furniture.
I dust the wooden furniture.
I clean the dirty windows.
I
clean the dirty windows.
I organize papers on my desk.
I organize papers on my desk.
I throw away old newspapers.
I throw away old newspapers.
I feel satisfied with my work.
I feel satisfied with my work.
I go for a walk outside.
I go for a walk outside.
I sit on a park bench.
I sit on a park bench.
I watch people walking by.
I watch people walking by.
I enjoy the fresh outdoor air.
I enjoy the fresh outdoor air.
I walk back to my house.
I walk back to my house.
I check my mailbox.
I check my mailbox.
I open the letters carefully.
I open the letters carefully.
I use my personal computer.
I use my personal computer.
I look at family photos online.
I look at family photos online.
I listen to my favorite music.
I listen to my favorite music.
I start preparing dinner food.
I start preparing dinner food.
I look inside the fridge.
I look inside the fridge.
I choose meat for dinner.
I choose meat for dinner.
I heat up the oven.
I heat up the oven.
I season the raw meat.
I season the raw meat.
I put the meat in the oven.
I put the meat in the oven.
I make a fresh salad.
I make a fresh salad.
I cut red tomatoes into pieces.
I cut red tomatoes into pieces.
I add green lettuce to the salad.
I add green lettuce to the salad.
I set the dinner table nicely.
I set the dinner table nicely.
I put clean plates on the table.
I put clean plates on the table.
I light a small candle.
I light a small candle.
I take the cooked meat out.
I take the cooked meat out.
I serve hot dinner on plates.
I serve hot dinner on plates.
I sit down at the table.
I sit down at the table.
I enjoy my delicious dinner.
I enjoy my delicious dinner.
I drink red wine with dinner.
I drink red wine with dinner.
I finish eating all my food.
I finish eating all my food.
I clear the dinner table.
I clear the dinner table.
I wash all the dinner dishes.
I wash all the dinner dishes.
I put clean dishes in the cupboard.
I put clean dishes in the cupboard.
I watch evening television programs.
I watch evening television programs.
I take a warm bath.
I take a warm bath.
I add soap bubbles to the water.
I add soap bubbles to the water.
I wash my hair with shampoo.
I wash my hair with shampoo.
I put on my soft pajamas.
I put on my soft pajamas.
I brush my teeth before bed.
I brush my teeth before bed.
I wash my face with cold water.
I wash my face with cold water.
I go to my comfortable bedroom.
I go to my comfortable bedroom.
I turn off all the lights.
I turn off all the lights.
I get into my warm bed.
I get into my warm bed.
I pull the covers over my body.
I pull the covers over my body.
I set my alarm for tomorrow morning.
I set my alarm for tomorrow morning.
I close my heavy eyes.
I close my heavy eyes.
I leave for work at 7 a.m.
I leave for work at 7 a.m.
I lock the door.
I lock the door.
I walk to the bus stop.
I walk to the bus stop.
I wait for the bus.
I wait for the bus.
The bus is arriving.
The bus is arriving.
I get on the bus.
I get on the bus.
I swipe my bus card.
I swipe my bus card.
The bus is crowded today.
The bus is crowded today.
I grab the handle.
I grab the handle.
I look out the window.
I look out the window.
I listen to music.
I listen to music.
I get off at the station.
I get off at the station.
I walk to my office building.
I walk to my office building.
I enter the lobby.
I enter the lobby.
I wait for the elevator.
I wait for the elevator.
The elevator is fast.
The elevator is fast.
I arrive at my floor.
I arrive at my floor.
I scan my ID badge.
I scan my ID badge.
I say, "Good morning."
I say, "Good morning."
I walk to my desk.
I walk to my desk.
I put down my bag.
I put down my bag.
I take off my coat.
I take off my coat.
I sit in my chair.
I sit in my chair.
I turn on my computer.
I turn on my computer.
I enter my password.
I enter my password.
I clean my glasses.
I clean my glasses.
I organize my desk.
I organize my desk.
I need some coffee.
I need some coffee.
I make a cup of coffee.
I make a cup of coffee.
I am ready to work.
I am ready to work.
I check my email inbox.
I check my email inbox.
I have many unread emails.
I have many unread emails.
I read the urgent emails first.
I read the urgent emails first.
I reply to my boss.
I reply to my boss.
I type on the keyboard.
I type on the keyboard.
I use the mouse.
I use the mouse.
I delete spam emails.
I delete spam emails.
I flag important messages.
I flag important messages.
I check my calendar. I have a meeting at 10 a.m.
I have a meeting at 10 a.m.
I write a to-do list.
I write a to-do list.
I prioritize my tasks.
I prioritize my tasks.
I open a spreadsheet.
I open a spreadsheet.
I enter data.
I enter data.
I calculate the numbers.
I calculate the numbers.
I create a report.
I create a report.
I save the file.
I save the file.
I print a document.
I print a document.
I walk to the printer.
I walk to the printer.
The printer is out of paper.
The printer is out of paper.
I add more paper.
I add more paper.
I collect my prints.
I collect my prints.
I staple the pages.
I staple the pages.
I put them in a folder.
I put them in a folder.
I answer the phone.
I answer the phone.
I take a message.
I take a message.
I transfer the call.
I transfer the call.
I make a phone call.
I make a phone call.
I leave a voicemail.
I leave a voicemail.
I organize my files.
I organize my files.
I look for a pen.
I look for a pen.
My pen is out of ink.
My pen is out of ink.
I borrow a pen.
I borrow a pen.
I highlight key points.
I highlight key points.
I sign a contract.
I sign a contract.
I send a fax.
I send a fax.
I shred old documents.
I shred old documents.
I drink some water.
I drink some water.
I stretch my arms.
I stretch my arms.
I prepare for the meeting.
I prepare for the meeting.
I enter the meeting room.
I enter the meeting room.
I greet my colleagues.
I greet my colleagues.
I sit next to my manager.
I sit next to my manager.
The meeting starts.
The meeting starts.
We discuss the new project.
We discuss the new project.
I turn on the projector.
I turn on the projector.
I look at the screen.
I look at the screen.
I take notes carefully.
I take notes carefully.
I have an idea.
I have an idea.
I raise my hand.
I raise my hand.
I share my opinion.
I share my opinion.
My boss listens to me.
My boss listens to me.
I answer a question.
I answer a question.
We brainstorm solutions.
We brainstorm solutions.
I agree with the plan.
I agree with the plan.
We set a deadline.
We set a deadline.
The meeting is over.
The meeting is over.
I leave the room.
I leave the room.
It is lunchtime.
It is lunchtime.
I am very hungry.
I am very hungry.
I go to the cafeteria.
I go to the cafeteria.
It smells delicious.
It smells delicious.
I stand in line.
I stand in line.
I look at the menu.
I look at the menu.
I choose a sandwich.
I choose a sandwich.
I pay for my lunch.
I pay for my lunch.
I find a table.
I find a table.
I sit with my friends.
I sit with my friends.
Bon appétit! The food is tasty.
The food is tasty.
We chat happily.
We chat happily.
We talk about the weekend.
We talk about the weekend.
I drink some juice.
I drink some juice.
I check my phone.
I check my phone.
I finish my meal.
I finish my meal.
I wipe my mouth.
I wipe my mouth.
I clean up the table.
I clean up the table.
I return the tray.
I return the tray.
I buy a coffee.
I buy a coffee.
Break time is over.
Break time is over.
I feel a bit sleepy.
I feel a bit sleepy.
I need to focus.
I need to focus.
I wash my face again.
I wash my face again.
I eat a snack.
I eat a snack.
Suddenly, I make a mistake.
Suddenly, I make a mistake.
I deleted the wrong file.
I deleted the wrong file.
My computer froze.
My computer froze.
The screen goes black.
The screen goes black.
I am panicked.
I am panicked.
I ask for help.
I ask for help.
My colleague helps me.
My colleague helps me.
We restart the computer.
We restart the computer.
Ideally, it works again.
Ideally, it works again.
I recover the data.
I recover the data.
I thank my colleague.
I thank my colleague.
I apologize to my boss.
I apologize to my boss.
I fix the errors.
I fix the errors.
I work faster.
I work faster.
The deadline is coming.
The deadline is coming.
I double-check everything.
I double-check everything.
It looks perfect.
It looks perfect.
I save the final version.
I save the final version.
I send the email.
I send the email.
I finish my work.
I finish my work. It is 5:30 p.m.
I clean my desk.
I clean my desk.
I wash my cup.
I wash my cup.
I turn off the computer.
I turn off the computer.
I check my bag.
I check my bag.
I put on my coat.
I put on my coat.
I say goodbye to everyone.
I say goodbye to everyone.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
I clock out.
I clock out.
I leave the office building.
I leave the office building.
It is getting dark.
It is getting dark.
The city lights are beautiful.
The city lights are beautiful.
I walk to the station.
I walk to the station.
I catch the train home.
I catch the train home.
I find a seat.
I find a seat.
I feel tired but happy.
I feel tired but happy.
I arrive at my station.
I arrive at my station.
I walk home slowly.
I walk home slowly.
I stop at a convenience store.
I stop at a convenience store.
I buy some dinner.
I buy some dinner.
I unlock the door.
I unlock the door.
I'm home.
I'm home.
I take off my shoes.
I take off my shoes.
I change my clothes.
I change my clothes.
I lie on the sofa.
I lie on the sofa.
I eat my dinner.
I eat my dinner.
I take a hot bath.
I take a hot bath.
I dry my hair.
I dry my hair.
I set the alarm.
I set the alarm.
I turn off the lights.
I turn off the lights.
I go to sleep.
I go to sleep.
I feel hungry for a big dinner.
I feel hungry for a big dinner.
I check the refrigerator.
I check the refrigerator.
The fridge is almost empty.
The fridge is almost empty.
I need to buy groceries.
I need to buy groceries.
I make a shopping list.
I make a shopping list.
I grab my reusable bag.
I grab my reusable bag.
I walk to the supermarket.
I walk to the supermarket.
I take a shopping cart.
I take a shopping cart.
I go to the produce section.
I go to the produce section.
I choose fresh tomatoes.
I choose fresh tomatoes.
I pick a head of lettuce.
I pick a head of lettuce.
I weigh the vegetables.
I weigh the vegetables.
I go to the meat counter.
I go to the meat counter.
I buy a pound of beef.
I buy a pound of beef.
I select some chicken wings.
I select some chicken wings.
I look for fresh fish.
I look for fresh fish.
I grab a carton of milk.
I grab a carton of milk.
I check the expiration date.
I check the expiration date.
I need some spices.
I need some spices.
I buy salt and pepper.
I buy salt and pepper.
I get a bag of rice.
I get a bag of rice.
My cart is full now.
My cart is full now.
I proceed to check out.
I proceed to check out.
I place items on the belt.
I place items on the belt.
The cashier scans them.
The cashier scans them.
I pay with my credit card.
I pay with my credit card.
I pack my bags.
I pack my bags.
I carry the heavy bags.
I carry the heavy bags.
I walk back home.
I walk back home.
I unlock the front door.
I unlock the front door.
I put groceries away.
I put groceries away.
I wash my hands with soap.
I wash my hands with soap.
I put on my cooking apron.
I put on my cooking apron.
I tie back my hair.
I tie back my hair.
I wash the vegetables.
I wash the vegetables.
I peel the carrots.
I peel the carrots.
I chop the onions.
I chop the onions.
My eyes water a bit.
My eyes water a bit.
I slice the tomatoes.
I slice the tomatoes.
I mince the garlic.
I mince the garlic.
I cut the beef into cubes.
I cut the beef into cubes.
I season the meat.
I season the meat.
I marinate the chicken.
I marinate the chicken.
I wash the rice.
I wash the rice.
I drain the water.
I drain the water.
I put rice in the cooker.
I put rice in the cooker.
I press the cook button.
I press the cook button.
I take out the frying pan.
I take out the frying pan.
I place the pan on the stove.
I place the pan on the stove.
I turn on the burner.
I turn on the burner.
I adjust the heat.
I adjust the heat.
I add oil to the pan.
I add oil to the pan.
The oil gets hot.
The oil gets hot.
I smell the garlic frying.
I smell the garlic frying.
It smells delicious already.
It smells delicious already.
I add the meat.
I add the meat.
I hear the sizzling sound.
I hear the sizzling sound.
I stir the meat.
I stir the meat.
The meat changes color.
The meat changes color.
I add the vegetables.
I add the vegetables.
I cover the pan.
I cover the pan.
I let it simmer.
I let it simmer.
I check the soup pot.
I check the soup pot.
The soup is boiling.
The soup is boiling.
I skim the foam off.
I skim the foam off.
I add more water.
I add more water.
I taste the broth.
I taste the broth.
It needs more salt.
It needs more salt.
I sprinkle some salt.
I sprinkle some salt.
I stir it gently.
I stir it gently.
I taste it again.
I taste it again.
Now it is perfect.
Now it is perfect.
I check the oven.
I check the oven.
The chicken is golden.
The chicken is golden.
I turn off the oven.
I turn off the oven.
I use oven mitts.
I use oven mitts.
I take the tray out.
I take the tray out.
Be careful, it's hot.
Be careful, it's hot.
The rice cooker beeps.
The rice cooker beeps.
The rice is ready.
The rice is ready.
I fluff the rice.
I fluff the rice.
I make a salad side dish.
I make a salad side dish.
I whisk the dressing.
I whisk the dressing.
I pour dressing over salad.
I pour dressing over salad.
I toss the salad.
I toss the salad.
Everything is cooked.
Everything is cooked.
The kitchen is messy.
The kitchen is messy.
I quickly clean up.
I quickly clean up.
I wash the knife.
I wash the knife.
I wipe the counter.
I wipe the counter.
I set the dining table.
I set the dining table.
I place the placemats.
I place the placemats.
I arrange the plates.
I arrange the plates.
I put out forks and spoons.
I put out forks and spoons.
I fold the napkins.
I fold the napkins.
I bring food to the table.
I bring food to the table.
It looks like a feast.
It looks like a feast.
I pour water into glasses.
I pour water into glasses.
I sit down to eat.
I sit down to eat.
I say bon appétit.
I say bon appétit.
I start with the soup.
I start with the soup.
The soup is warm and comforting.
The soup is warm and comforting.
I take a bite of chicken.
I take a bite of chicken.
The skin is crispy.
The skin is crispy.
The meat is tender.
The meat is tender.
The vegetables are fresh.
The vegetables are fresh.
I eat some rice.
I eat some rice.
I chew slowly.
I chew slowly.
I enjoy every bite.
I enjoy every bite.
I feel full now.
I feel full now.
That was a great meal.
That was a great meal.
I stay at the table for a bit.
I stay at the table for a bit.
I drink some tea.
I drink some tea.
I wipe my mouth.
I wipe my mouth.
I stand up.
I stand up.
I clear the table.
I clear the table.
I scrape leftovers into the trash.
I scrape leftovers into the trash.
I carry dishes to the sink.
I carry dishes to the sink.
I put on rubber gloves.
I put on rubber gloves.
I turn on warm water.
I turn on warm water.
I squirt dish soap on the sponge.
I squirt dish soap on the sponge.
I create bubbles.
I create bubbles.
I scrub the plates.
I scrub the plates.
I wash the glasses first.
I wash the glasses first.
I wash the forks and spoons.
I wash the forks and spoons.
I rinse them with water.
I rinse them with water.
The dishes are sparkling clean.
The dishes are sparkling clean.
I place them in the drainer.
I place them in the drainer.
I wipe the stove top.
I wipe the stove top.
I clean the sink.
I clean the sink.
I hang the dish towel.
I hang the dish towel.
The kitchen is spotless.
The kitchen is spotless.
I go to the living room.
I go to the living room.
I turn on the floor lamp.
I turn on the floor lamp.
I sit on the sofa.
I sit on the sofa.
I grab the remote control.
I grab the remote control.
I turn on the TV.
I turn on the TV.
I watch a movie.
I watch a movie.
I laugh at a funny scene.
I laugh at a funny scene.
I check my messages.
I check my messages.
I reply to my mom.
I reply to my mom.
I feel sleepy now.
I feel sleepy now.
I turn off the TV.
I turn off the TV.
I double-check the door lock.
I double-check the door lock.
I turn off the lights downstairs.
I turn off the lights downstairs.
I go upstairs.
I go upstairs.
I go to the bathroom.
I go to the bathroom.
I prepare a warm bath.
I prepare a warm bath.
I soak in the tub.
I soak in the tub.
It relaxes my muscles.
It relaxes my muscles.
I get out of the bath.
I get out of the bath.
I put on my pajamas.
I put on my pajamas.
I brush my teeth again.
I brush my teeth again.
I apply face cream.
I apply face cream.
I brush my hair.
I brush my hair.
I go to my bedroom.
I go to my bedroom.
I open the window a bit.
I open the window a bit.
I look at the moon.
I look at the moon.
I close the curtains.
I close the curtains.
I set my alarm clock.
I set my alarm clock.
I charge my phone.
I charge my phone.
I get into bed.
I get into bed.
I pull up the blanket.
I pull up the blanket.
I feel cozy and warm.
I feel cozy and warm.
I close my eyes.
I close my eyes.
I think about my day.
I think about my day.
It was a productive day.
It was a productive day.
I clear my mind.
I clear my mind.
I listen to the silence.
I listen to the silence.
I sleep soundly.
I sleep soundly.
I need a vacation.
I need a vacation.
I decide to travel abroad.
I decide to travel abroad.
I browse travel websites.
I browse travel websites.
I book a flight ticket.
I book a flight ticket.
I reserve a nice hotel.
I reserve a nice hotel.
The trip starts tomorrow.
The trip starts tomorrow.
I take out my suitcase.
I take out my suitcase.
I opened the suitcase.
I open the suitcase.
I choose my favorite clothes.
I choose my favorite clothes.
I fold my shirts neatly.
I fold my shirts neatly.
I pack some dresses.
I pack some dresses.
I bring comfortable shoes.
I bring comfortable shoes.
I pack my swimwear.
I pack my swimwear.
I need my toiletries.
I need my toiletries.
I put them in a pouch.
I put them in a pouch.
I check my passport.
I check my passport.
I print my boarding pass.
I print my boarding pass.
I charge my camera.
I charge my camera.
I pack a universal adapter.
I pack a universal adapter.
I bring my sunglasses.
I bring my sunglasses.
I pack a hat.
I pack a hat.
I zip up the suitcase.
I zip up the suitcase.
It is quite heavy.
It is quite heavy.
I set my alarm.
I set my alarm.
I go to sleep early.
I go to sleep early.
The alarm rings loudly.
The alarm rings loudly.
I wake up excited.
I wake up excited.
I get dressed quickly.
I get dressed quickly.
I grab my backpack.
I grab my backpack.
I call a taxi.
I call a taxi.
The taxi arrives.
The taxi arrives.
I put my bag in the trunk.
I put my bag in the trunk.
I arrive at the airport.
I arrive at the airport.
I go to the terminal.
I go to the terminal.
I look for my airline.
I look for my airline.
I go to the check-in counter.
I go to the check-in counter.
I show my passport.
I show my passport.
I weigh my suitcase.
I weigh my suitcase.
It is under the limit.
It is under the limit.
I get my boarding pass.
I get my boarding pass.
I go through security.
I go through security.
I walk through the metal detector.
I walk through the metal detector.
I find my gate.
I find my gate.
I wait in the lounge.
I wait in the lounge.
I watch the planes. They announce boarding.
They announce boarding.
I show my ticket again.
I show my ticket again.
I walk down the jet bridge.
I walk down the jet bridge.
I enter the plane.
I enter the plane.
I find my seat.
I find my seat.
I have a window seat.
I have a window seat.
I put my bag overhead.
I put my bag overhead.
I fasten my seat belt.
I fasten my seat belt.
The plane starts to move.
The plane starts to move.
The flight attendants demonstrate safety.
The flight attendants demonstrate safety.
The plane takes off.
The plane takes off.
I feel the speed.
I feel the speed.
My ears pop a little.
My ears pop a little.
I look out the window.
I look out the window.
We are above the clouds.
We are above the clouds.
I read a magazine.
I read a magazine.
I drink some orange juice.
I drink some orange juice.
I listen to music.
I listen to music.
I take a nap.
I take a nap.
The plane lands smoothly.
The plane lands smoothly.
The pilot makes an announcement.
The pilot makes an announcement.
I unbuckle my seatbelt.
I unbuckle my seatbelt.
I grab my backpack.
I grab my backpack.
I get off the plane.
I get off the plane.
I follow the signs.
I follow the signs.
I go to immigration.
I go to immigration.
I queue in line.
I queue in line.
I show my passport.
I show my passport.
The officer stamps it.
The officer stamps it.
I wait for my suitcase.
I wait for my suitcase.
I pick it up.
I pick it up.
I walk through customs.
I walk through customs.
I enter the arrival hall.
I enter the arrival hall.
I look for a taxi.
I look for a taxi.
The driver helps me.
The driver helps me.
We drive to the hotel.
We drive to the hotel.
I see beautiful scenery.
I see beautiful scenery.
We arrive at the hotel.
We arrive at the hotel.
It looks luxurious.
It looks luxurious.
I go to the reception.
I go to the reception.
I have a reservation.
I have a reservation.
I fill out a form.
I fill out a form.
I get my key card.
I get my key card.
The bellboy takes my bag.
The bellboy takes my bag.
I take the elevator.
I take the elevator.
I enter my room.
I enter my room.
The bed is huge.
The bed is huge.
I check the view.
I check the view.
Wow, look at the ocean.
Wow, look at the ocean.
I unpack my suitcase.
I unpack my suitcase.
I change my clothes.
I change my clothes.
I apply sunscreen.
I apply sunscreen.
I take my camera.
I take my camera.
I grab a city map.
I grab a city map.
I leave the hotel.
I leave the hotel.
The weather is perfect.
The weather is perfect.
I walk to the city center.
I walk to the city center.
I visit a famous landmark.
I visit a famous landmark.
It is very crowded.
It is very crowded.
I take many photos.
I take many photos.
I ask a stranger for help.
I ask a stranger for help.
Can you take a photo of me?
Can you take a photo of me?
Sure, smile.
Sure, smile.
I check the photo.
I check the photo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I continue walking.
I continue walking.
I see a souvenir shop.
I see a souvenir shop.
I go inside.
I go inside.
I look at postcards.
I look at postcards.
I buy a magnet.
I buy a magnet.
I buy gifts for my family.
I buy gifts for my family.
I pay cash.
I pay cash.
I feel a bit lost.
I feel a bit lost.
I check the map again.
I check the map again.
I ask for directions.
I ask for directions.
I find my way.
I find my way.
I enjoy the beautiful architecture.
I enjoy the beautiful architecture.
I feel hungry again.
I feel hungry again.
I find a local restaurant.
I find a local restaurant.
It smells amazing.
It smells amazing.
I ask for a table.
I ask for a table.
I look at the menu.
I look at the menu.
I order the specialty.
I order the specialty.
I try a new drink.
I try a new drink.
The food is served.
The food is served.
It looks delicious.
It looks delicious.
I take a bite.
I take a bite.
The flavor is unique.
The flavor is unique.
It is spicy but good.
It is spicy, but good.
I finish everything.
I finish everything.
I pay the bill.
I pay the bill.
I explore the night market.
I explore the night market.
There are many stalls.
There are many stalls.
Musicians are playing.
Musicians are playing.
The atmosphere is lively.
The atmosphere is lively.
I try some street food.
I try some street food.
I walk back to the hotel.
I walk back to the hotel.
My feet are tired.
My feet are tired.
It is the last day.
It is the last day.
I fall asleep instantly.
I fall asleep instantly.
I pack my bags again.
I pack my bags again.
I check out of the hotel.
I check out of the hotel.
Goodbye, beautiful city.
Goodbye, beautiful city.
I arrive at the airport early.
I arrive at the airport early.
I buy some duty-free items.
I buy some duty-free items.
I wait at the gate.
I wait at the gate.
The flight is delayed.
The flight is delayed.
I read my book.
I read my book.
Finally, we board.
Finally, we board.
I sleep on the plane.
I sleep on the plane.
We land in my home city.
We land in my home city.
It is raining outside.
It is raining outside.
I take a taxi home.
I take a taxi home.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home.
I open the door.
I open the door.
I am exhausted.
I am exhausted.
But I am happy.
But I am happy.
I unpack my souvenirs.
I unpack my souvenirs.
I put the magnet on the fridge.
I put the magnet on the fridge.
I give gifts to my family.
I give gifts to my family.
I check my photos.
I check my photos.
Beautiful memories.
Beautiful memories.
I take a hot shower.
I take a hot shower.
I put on fresh pajamas.
I put on fresh pajamas.
I crawl into my bed.
I crawl into my bed.
My bed is the best.
My bed is the best.
Travel opens my mind.
Travel opens my mind.
I plan my next trip.
I plan my next trip.
Maybe Japan?
Maybe Japan?
Or maybe France?
Or maybe France?
I love exploring.
I love exploring.
Now I need to sleep.
Now I need to sleep.
Good night, world.
Good night, world.
Don't forget to travel.
Don't forget to travel.
The morning sun wakes me up.
The morning sun wakes me up.
I feel refreshed today.
I feel refreshed today.
I get out of bed.
I get out of bed.
I open the curtains.
I open the curtains.
First, I drink water.
First, I drink water.
I add a slice of lemon.
I add a slice of lemon.
It boosts my metabolism.
It boosts my metabolism.
I make my bed neatly.
I make my bed neatly.
I change into sportswear.
I change into sportswear.
I tie my hair up.
I tie my hair up.
I roll out my yoga mat.
I roll out my yoga mat.
I start with stretching.
I start with stretching.
I touch my toes.
I touch my toes.
I do the downward dog.
I do the downward dog.
I breathe deeply.
I breathe deeply.
Yoga calms my mind.
Yoga calms my mind.
I hold the plank pose.
I hold the plank pose.
My muscles are shaking.
My muscles are shaking.
I finish with meditation.
I finish with meditation.
I feel energized.
I feel energized.
I pack my gym bag.
I pack my gym bag.
I put on running shoes.
I put on running shoes.
I walk to the gym.
I walk to the gym.
I listen to upbeat music.
I listen to upbeat music.
I arrive at the fitness center.
I arrive at the fitness center.
I greet the trainer.
I greet the trainer.
I put my bag in the locker.
I put my bag in the locker.
I warm up on the treadmill.
I warm up on the treadmill.
I run for 15 minutes.
I run for 15 minutes.
I start sweating.
I start sweating.
I move to the weight area.
I move to the weight area.
I pick up light dumbbells.
I pick up light dumbbells.
I do arm exercises.
I do arm exercises.
I focus on my form.
I focus on my form.
I do squats for my legs.
I do squats for my legs.
Keep your back straight.
Keep your back straight.
I feel the burn.
I feel the burn.
I take a short break.
I take a short break.
I drink more water.
I drink more water.
Hydration is key.
Hydration is key.
I use the leg press machine.
I use the leg press machine.
It is challenging.
It is challenging.
I push myself hard.
I push myself hard.
One last rep.
One last rep.
I finish my workout.
I finish my workout.
I wipe my sweat.
I wipe my sweat.
I stretch to cool down.
I stretch to cool down.
My body feels strong.
My body feels strong.
I go to the locker room.
I go to the locker room.
I take a quick shower.
I take a quick shower.
I change my clothes.
I change my clothes.
I leave the gym.
I leave the gym.
I walk home happily.
I walk home happily.
I stop at a fruit shop.
I stop at a fruit shop.
My stomach is growling.
My stomach is growling.
I buy fresh bananas.
I buy fresh bananas.
I pick some avocados.
I pick some avocados.
I need protein too.
I need protein too.
I pay for healthy food.
I pay for healthy food.
Time for a post-workout meal.
Time for a post-workout meal.
I arrive back home.
I arrive back home.
I wash my hands thoroughly.
I wash my hands thoroughly.
I make a green smoothie.
I make a green smoothie.
I put spinach in the blender.
I put spinach in the blender.
I add banana and milk.
I add banana and milk.
I press the button.
I press the button.
It blends smoothly.
It blends smoothly.
I pour it into a glass.
I pour it into a glass.
I slice the ripe avocado.
I slice the ripe avocado.
I toast the bread.
I toast the bread.
I spread the avocado.
I spread the avocado.
I poach an egg.
I poach an egg.
I put the egg on top.
I put the egg on top.
I sprinkle chili flakes.
I sprinkle chili flakes.
It looks colorful.
It looks colorful.
This meal is full of nutrients.
This meal is full of nutrients.
I calculate the calories.
I calculate the calories.
I sit by the window.
I sit by the window.
Bon appétit!
Bon appétit.
I take a bite of toast.
I take a bite of toast.
The egg yolk runs out.
The egg yolk runs out.
It tastes creamy.
It tastes creamy.
I drink the smoothie.
I drink the smoothie.
It is fresh and sweet.
It is fresh and sweet.
I eat slowly.
I eat slowly.
Healthy food makes me happy.
Healthy food makes me happy.
I finish my lunch.
I finish my lunch.
I wash the dishes immediately.
I wash the dishes immediately.
I take my vitamins.
I take my vitamins.
I drink a glass of water.
I drink a glass of water.
I go to the living room.
I go to the living room.
I water my plants.
I water my plants.
I sit on the sofa.
I sit on the sofa.
I read a health magazine.
I read a health magazine.
I feel sleepy.
I feel sleepy.
I take a short nap.
I take a short nap.
Rest is important.
Rest is important.
I wake up after 20 minutes.
I wake up after 20 minutes.
I prepare for my skincare.
I prepare for my skincare.
I tie my hair with a headband.
I tie my hair with a headband.
I use a cleansing oil.
I use a cleansing oil.
I remove my makeup.
I remove my makeup.
I massage my face.
I massage my face.
I wash with foam cleanser.
I wash with foam cleanser.
I rinse with warm water.
I rinse with warm water.
I pat my face dry.
I pat my face dry.
My skin feels clean.
My skin feels clean.
I apply a clay mask.
I apply a clay mask.
I wait for 10 minutes.
I wait for 10 minutes.
I wash off the mask.
I wash off the mask.
I use a toner.
I use a toner.
I apply a serum.
I apply a serum.
I use eye cream.
I use eye cream.
I apply moisturizer.
I apply moisturizer.
I massage with a roller.
I massage with a roller.
My skin is glowing.
My skin is glowing.
I put on lip balm.
I put on lip balm.
I am ready to relax.
I am ready to relax.
I prepare a hot bath.
I prepare a hot bath.
I light scented candles.
I light scented candles.
I use lavender oil.
I use lavender oil.
The smell is relaxing.
The smell is relaxing.
I add bath salts.
I add bath salts.
I play soft music.
I play soft music.
I step into the tub.
I step into the tub.
The water feels warm.
The water feels warm.
I close my eyes.
I close my eyes.
My stress melts away.
My stress melts away.
I wash my body.
I wash my body.
I use a body scrub.
I use a body scrub.
My skin feels soft.
My skin feels soft.
I get out of the bath.
I get out of the bath.
I dry myself with a towel.
I dry myself with a towel.
I apply body lotion.
I apply body lotion.
I wear comfortable pajamas.
I wear comfortable pajamas.
I dry my hair.
I dry my hair.
I feel completely clean.
I feel completely clean.
I make herbal tea.
I make herbal tea.
I sit on my bed.
I sit on my bed.
I write about my day.
I write about my day.
I list 3 good things.
I list 3 good things.
Gratitude makes me happy.
Gratitude makes me happy.
I reflect on my goals.
I reflect on my goals.
I plan for tomorrow.
I plan for tomorrow.
I close the book.
I close the book.
My mind is clear.
My mind is clear.
I do some light stretching.
I do some light stretching.
I turn off the main light.
I turn off the main light.
I read a few pages.
I read a few pages.
Reading makes me sleepy.
Reading makes me sleepy.
I put the book away.
I put the book away.
I drink the last sip of tea.
I drink the last sip of tea.
I feel peaceful.
I feel peaceful.
I fluff my pillow.
I fluff my pillow.
The sheets are fresh.
The sheets are fresh.
I wear a silk eye mask.
I wear a silk eye mask.
I pull up the duvet.
I pull up the duvet.
I drift into sleep.
I drift into sleep.
I dream of nature.
I dream of nature.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Today is my day off.
Today is my day off.
I decide to go to the mall.
I decide to go to the mall.
I take a taxi there.
I take a taxi there.
I arrive at the entrance.
I arrive at the entrance.
The mall is huge.
The mall is huge.
It is very crowded.
It is very crowded.
I check the directory map.
I check the directory map.
I want to buy clothes.
I want to buy clothes.
I step on the escalator.
I step on the escalator.
I hold the handrail.
I hold the handrail.
I go up to the second floor.
I go up to the second floor.
I see many shops.
I see many shops.
I do some window shopping.
I do some window shopping.
The displays are beautiful.
The displays are beautiful.
I see a sale sign.
I see a sale sign.
I enter a clothing store.
I enter a clothing store.
The music is upbeat.
The music is upbeat.
The shop smells nice.
The shop smells nice.
I greet the staff.
I greet the staff.
I start browsing.
I start browsing.
I look through the racks.
I look through the racks.
I touch the fabric.
I touch the fabric.
It feels soft.
It feels soft.
I find a cute dress.
I find a cute dress.
I check the size.
I check the size.
It is my size.
It is my size.
I check the price tag.
I check the price tag.
It is affordable.
It is affordable.
I want to try it on.
I want to try it on.
I enter the fitting room.
I enter the fitting room.
I hang the dress up.
I hang the dress up.
I take off my shoes.
I take off my shoes.
I change into the dress.
I change into the dress.
I zip up the back.
I zip up the back.
I step back.
I step back.
It fits perfectly.
It fits perfectly.
I love the color.
I love the color.
I decide to buy it.
I decide to buy it.
I change back.
I change back.
I leave the fitting room.
I leave the fitting room.
I find a matching bag.
I find a matching bag.
I put it on my shoulder.
I put it on my shoulder.
I take both items.
I take both items.
I go to the cashier.
I go to the cashier.
I take out my wallet.
I take out my wallet.
I pay with credit card.
I pay with credit card.
I enter my PIN.
I enter my PIN.
The payment is successful.
The payment is successful.
She packs my clothes.
She packs my clothes.
She gives me the receipt.
She gives me the receipt.
I feel happy with my purchase.
I feel happy with my purchase.
I feel hungry.
I feel hungry.
I go to the food court.
I go to the food court.
It smells delicious.
It smells delicious.
There are many stalls.
There are many stalls.
I choose a pizza place.
I choose a pizza place.
I look at the menu.
I look at the menu.
I order a pepperoni pizza.
I order a pepperoni pizza.
I order a cold cola.
I order a cold cola.
I pay for the meal.
I pay for the meal.
I get a buzzer.
I get a buzzer.
I find a table.
I find a table.
I sit down and wait.
I sit down and wait.
The buzzer vibrates.
The buzzer vibrates.
I go pick up my food.
I go pick up my food.
I carry the tray.
I carry the tray.
The pizza looks cheesy.
The pizza looks cheesy.
I take a slice.
I take a slice.
The cheese stretches.
The cheese stretches.
I take a big bite.
I take a big bite.
It is crispy and hot.
It is crispy and hot.
I drink the cola.
I drink the cola.
It is refreshing.
It is refreshing.
I enjoy my lunch.
I enjoy my lunch.
I wipe my mouth.
I wipe my mouth.
I finish eating.
I finish eating.
I return the tray.
I return the tray.
I feel energized.
I feel energized.
I check my phone.
I check my phone.
I check the time.
I check the time.
I am ready for fun. I am ready for fun. I leave the food court.
I leave the food court.
I hear loud noises.
I hear loud noises.
I see the arcade center.
I see the arcade center.
I enter the arcade.
I enter the arcade.
It is full of lights.
It is full of lights.
I go to the token machine.
I go to the token machine.
I insert a bill.
I insert a bill.
Tokens fall out.
Tokens fall out.
I collect the tokens.
I collect the tokens.
I see a racing game.
I see a racing game.
I insert a token.
I insert a token.
I sit in the driver's seat.
I sit in the driver's seat.
I grab the steering wheel.
I grab the steering wheel.
The game starts.
The game starts.
I step on the gas pedal.
I step on the gas pedal.
I drive fast.
I drive fast.
I turn the wheel sharp.
I turn the wheel sharp.
I win the race.
I win the race.
I feel excited.
I feel excited.
I stand up.
I stand up.
I see a claw machine.
I see a claw machine.
It has cute teddy bears.
It has cute teddy bears.
I want the brown bear.
I want the brown bear.
I insert 2 tokens.
I insert 2 tokens.
I control the joystick.
I control the joystick.
The claw moves right.
The claw moves right.
I press the button.
I press the button.
It grabs the bear.
It grabs the bear.
It lifts the bear up.
It lifts the bear up.
It drops it in the chute.
It drops it in the chute.
I take my prize.
I take my prize.
I am so lucky.
I am so lucky.
I leave the arcade.
I leave the arcade.
I go to the top floor.
I go to the top floor.
I see the cinema.
I see the cinema.
I check movie showtimes.
I check movie showtimes.
I choose an action movie.
I choose an action movie.
I go to the box office.
I go to the box office.
I buy one ticket.
I buy one ticket.
I smell popcorn.
I smell popcorn.
I go to the snack bar.
I go to the snack bar.
I order caramel popcorn.
I order caramel popcorn.
I get a large soda.
I get a large soda.
I carry my snacks.
I carry my snacks.
The ticket collector checks.
The ticket collector checks.
I walk down the hall.
I walk down the hall.
I enter Theater 5.
I enter Theater 5.
It is dark inside.
It is dark inside.
I look for my seat.
I look for my seat. Row G, seat 12.
I sit down.
I sit down.
I put on 3D glasses.
I put on 3D glasses.
The movie starts.
The movie starts.
I eat popcorn.
I eat a popcorn.
It is sweet and crunchy.
It is sweet and crunchy.
The action is exciting.
The action is exciting.
I drink my soda.
I drink my soda.
I feel the sound bass.
I feel the sound bass.
I hold my breath.
I hold my breath.
The ending is touching.
The ending is touching.
The credits roll.
The credits roll.
The lights turn on.
The lights turn on.
I throw away trash.
I throw away trash.
I leave the cinema.
I leave the cinema.
I walk out of the mall.
I walk out of the mall.
It is night time.
It is nighttime.
The city lights are bright.
The city lights are bright.
I wait at the taxi stand.
I wait at the taxi stand.
A taxi arrives.
A taxi arrives.
I get in the car.
I get in the car.
To Maple Street, please.
To Maple Street, please.
I look out the window.
I look out the window.
I feel tired but happy.
I feel tired but happy.
The taxi stops.
The taxi stops.
I pay the driver.
I pay the driver.
I enter my house.
I enter my house.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home.
I take off my shoes.
I take off my shoes.
My feet hurt a little.
My feet hurt a little.
I sit on the sofa.
I sit on the sofa.
I open my shopping bags.
I open my shopping bags.
I admire my new clothes.
I admire my new clothes.
I look at the teddy bear.
I look at the teddy bear.
You are so cute.
You are so cute.
I drink a glass of water.
I drink a glass of water.
I remove my makeup.
I remove my makeup.
I take a warm shower.
I take a warm shower.
I change into pajamas.
I change into pajamas.
I brush my hair.
I brush my hair.
I feel satisfied.
I feel satisfied.
I turn off the lamp.
I turn off the lamp. Good night.